Hey everyone! Thanks for wanting to check out my 100 Days in Pixelmon series. This will be done on the PocketPixels server, so all of the links in the description will be down below on how to get there. Okay, let's jump into the video now. Day 1. When I first spawned in on the server, I immediately noticed the graphic banners in the hub. I then dashed to the Pixelmon Blue branch of the server, right-clicked on it, and was greeted with a screen to select my starter Pokemon. I wanted a pseudo-legendary and decided on Beldum, and it turned out to be a shiny. Now officially in the Blue server, I found that using /RTP will be my main way to get out into the field and catch some pokes. My friend Waddle and I wanted to explore the spawn area more though, and we quickly saw all of the mystery crates that the server had available. The ones that I checked inside seemed to give a lot of cool Pokemon as potential drops, which made me excited to see what I would be able to spot on the server. From there, I checked my inventory and put on my running shoes, which gave me speed boost. Some other things of note in my inventory were a bunch of rare candies, some diamond items, a bunch of wood, various tiers of Pokeballs including one Master Ball, and a crate key. We did /RTP, chose the Flower Forest biome, and got teleported to the beginning of our adventure. Right away, I was greeted by a ladybug in the sky as well as some man-made structures in the area. You see, on this server, you can actually go into the wilderness and build in order to make your own little community, so that's 100% what one of my goals was. I sent out my Beldum to bask in its grace and saw that its full name was Beldum the Chosen One. I then read the server's rules by doing /rules and immediately proceeded to try and take someone else's apricorns from someone's farm, but they were server protected, so their owner could be the only ones to pick them. I saw Chikorita in the area and knew that I needed to beef up my Beldum a bit, so I used the rare candies provided to me and kinda went a little crazy boosting him up to level 17 for some reason. By that point, Chikorita was already gone though, so I went into the wilderness and got some more apricorns. At night, I found a Zorua and had my first battle. All Beldum knew was tackle, but Zorua didn't stand a chance against it. I won the match, ready for the next one. On day 2, I ran right into a Charmander. I just knew that I needed to catch it, even if I wasn't planning on using it for too long, so I challenged this fire type with my steel type. After weakening it a bit, I chucked a great ball at it and it was mine. Next, I ran into a Jangmo-o, and even though I knew this Pokemon's catch percentage is extremely low due to catching it in the actual games, I went for it anyways. I threw plenty of balls at it, but it just kept busting out over and over. I burned through so many of the balls that I had trying to catch this boy, but in the end, I just gave up on him and defeated him instead. I then tried to swim in lava, but nothing happened. At night, while chasing an Abra, I fell into a hole and needed to mine my way out. I then went back to throwing the ball at the Abra, and that thing just dipped. After that, I met up with Waddle, who suggested that we live underground, but I said that I didn't really want to. In this area, I found a Drifloon, and I tried to catch it, but completely failed when it proceeded to destroy my entire team. On day 3, I learned about daily quests and rewards by doing /dailies. I redeemed my day 1 reward and got even more rare candies. I then used a growth token that I got, and I guess it made my Beldum size gigantic? I'm honestly not too sure, but I kinda wanna believe that my boy is big and strong thanks to that thing. I then returned to the spawn and headed towards the Pokemon Center. While healing, I saw that I was lagging behind Waddle, who now had 5 different Pokemon. We then returned to the wilderness, but this time I found myself in an icy biome. Around it was also a strange building with a tree inside, but I couldn't get inside of it. In the ice area, I battled and caught a Swinub, and now with my 3rd Pokemon added to my growing family, I was feeling good. On day 4, Waddle and I found Victory Road, which had famed trainers like Supreme Homer and Santa Claus. We made it to the first Elite Four area and found 4 Ultra Space portals clustered up in the area. Later on, while running around, I randomly got a bed. After not finding much in the area that I was at, I tried going to the ocean biome but quickly regretted it and went to the jungle instead. Waddle and I wanted to make a jungle house, but with evidence that another person's house was in the area, we decided against it. In the trees were a lot of Purloin and Mankey, which I wasn't too interested in, so we left the area. We returned to the cold and I tried to battle a Snorunt since Frostlass is one of my favorite Pokemon, but when I saw that it wasn't a female, I didn't really feel like getting it since I didn't really want a Glalie. On day 5, I found another Snorunt, but when I saw that it was a male, I ran away this time. From there, I decided that I wanted to find a place to settle down, so that became my main mission. On day 6, this search continued through the morning as it poured down rain. I was determined to find a spot to set up this channel's little community on the server. I really wanted a place where all of you who are watching could come and chill as well. That night, I spotted a Skarmory and thought about catching it, but went for a nearby Rookidee instead because I like its final evolution Corviknight more. On day 7, Abra was back to playing games. I chased it around the forest, chucking ball after ball at it, and it teleported away. The game was silly at first, but after making a nice long throw, it finally decided to stay in. I then found myself in a mesa biome where I spotted new faces like Ponyard and Bagon. My eyes were mostly on the Bagon obviously, but eventually my attention was grabbed by the Sizzlipede that was in the area. I mean, it has Sizzle in the name, so of course I needed it on my team. Unfortunately, Bagon despawned shortly after. However, not too far down the line, I found a shiny Spinnerack and caught it right away. Luckily, this was a very easy catch. By night, I found a place for my house in the taiga biome that I /RTP'd to, and I began working on it. The flattening of the area continued into day 8. Eventually, this led to putting down the outline of my house and digging out the floor. This house making process ended up taking the rest of the day. On day 19, I found a timber that I decided to battle. I tried using Sizzlipede to battle it, but a quad effective rock throw really threw me for a loop. I decided that I'd catch this Pokemon as a replacement for one of my current party members. I soon saw a Rockruff as well, chucked the ball at it, and it was mine. Back at work at my house, I made some chests and put them down, which triggered an effect that now made this small area belong to me. I wondered if putting down other chests somewhere else would also have the same effect, but it didn't. After reading the grief protection book that was in my inventory when I first got onto the server, I found that my ticket to claiming stuff was the golden shovel that I also spawned with. Unfortunately, I was speed reading and I didn't really know what was going on, so I did a poor job at marking my territory. When I finished off my house on day 10, I showed off my coordinates for all those that are watching this video right now. That's right, I'm talking about you. When I was done showing off how to get to my place, I went around and collected some apricorns in the area. While out there, I spotted a giant bridge in the sky, which I made a mental note of to get back to. Then, I found a level 50 Piloswine and decided that I had to catch it. So I went for it and did just that. I also caught a Mareep, cause why not? Back at the Pokemon Center at spawn at day 11, I switched out my team for these strong pokes that I had caught. On day 12, I realized that I lost my house cause I'm dumb and I didn't set it as my home. On my journey back to it, I found a Rowlet, and when I tried to catch it, it said nah and left. I tried catching an Araquanid next, but he dipped too. Eventually, I found a nice little community tucked neatly into a small area I found. It made me really want for more people to move close to my house so we could have something similar going on. I did /RTP to try to teleport closer to my house, but it still wasn't very close. So, I kept going on foot in the direction of my house's coordinates. I ended up running into some nice pokes on the way like Seismitoad, Charjabug, and Crawdont, but my mind was on getting home, so I just kept going. My mission continued on day 13, but my one-track mindedness was broken by a shiny Sentret that I found. I got too excited and fell off some blocks that I was on, and when I got back up, the Sentret entered a tree and never came back out. I completely lost it. At night, my journey brought me back to the giant tree structure from before, but that really didn't help me much at this point. I rolled the /RTP dice again on day 14, and this time, the taiga biome still teleported me far away. Luckily, I found a Larvitar in the area I was transported to and captured it. That honestly made me feel a lot better. While swimming through the ocean on day 15, I found a Lapras and I knew it had to be mine. It was level 50, so I wondered how difficult it would be, but it wasn't too bad at all. After that, I finally did it. I found my house. Waddle came over shortly after, and the two of us celebrated by trying to figure out how to properly use the golden shovel. I found out that he could enter my house through one of the 2 doors, so that means that anyone else could as well. Waddle and I ended up reviewing the grief protection book on day 16, which led us to messaging one of the moderators on the server for help. The person I messaged quickly responded back on how to fix my issue, which was to do /abandon claim in the areas I had claimed with the golden shovel. While figuring this out, we found a shiny Teddiursa which needed to be caught. Afterwards, I did as instructed, abandoned all of my claims on my house, and proceeded to pick a singular area that would be protected as my area. On day 17, I found a Grubbin that had a weird fire effect around it. After catching it, I found that it was seemingly part of the Poke Hunt aspect of the server, which the chat said that it didn't really look like it was the right one. This is when I realized that the feature on the server was kinda like a scavenger hunt thing, I guess, which was kinda cool. I really did like all the variety and the different things that the server offered. I then set my home, so now all I had to do was use /home to teleport there from anywhere. We went back to the spawn on the next day and used Waddle's crate key on the rare crate, and it gave him a rare item called a gender token. I stayed in the spawn after this and saw that this server had gym leaders to challenge who were actual people on the server. They also had a battle tower where you could battle at any time. We then went to the Pokemart at spawn and looked around. Waddle decided that this would be a good spot to evolve some of our Pokemon, so I went home, got some rare candies, and evolved my Beldum into a Metang. Waddle and I then took turns evolving our stuff, and I soon had a Metagross while Waddle had a Grimmsnarl. Next, I evolved my Sizzlipede into a Centiskorch. On day 19, I used my new Centiskorch to catch my own Impidimp. I wanted to try out the battle tower for myself, so that's where I headed to next. After finding myself dominating the first 2 rounds quite easily, I then got to the 3rd round, and I saw that my team's lack of experience and the bare bones movesets that they had because I hadn't been working on them too much wasn't going to cut it against the Mimikyu who sweeps my entire team. On day 20, I tried to challenge a gym leader who ended up being the same person who helped me with my house situation. Unfortunately, I don't know if I was doing the challenge thing correctly because even though it said that I was part of the queue, it also said that I took too long and that the challenge was cancelled. From there, I thought that I should battle a few pokes to train up mine, so I spent the rest of the day doing that. Day 21 started off with a nice surprise. A level 50 Togekiss was in the area and I really wanted to have it on my team. Anything to boost up my party's power, honestly. It took a few tries, but Togekiss joined the team not long after. Noting that I was running low on Pokeballs, I flattened an area near my house and decided that this would be my apricorn farm. Don't mind the hoe that I'm using. For some reason, I thought that I would need it to plant them, but eventually I learned that that wasn't the case. After planting all the colors that I had, I marked the area as well, and it now only belongs to me. The following day, I was already seeing some apricorn trees growing. Once again, I showed off my coordinates in case you all wanted to come join me on my adventure in this server by making a house close to mine, and then I labeled my own house just so that you truly know it is mine. From there, I went and found a nearby cave entrance and began to mine. I feel like I said mine a bunch of times in that little bit, but anyways, it was about time to get some minerals so I can craft some Pokemon-based items. My adventure in the cave actually led me down to an abandoned mine. I just said mine again. Oh my goodness. I went strip mining for 2 whole days while down in the depths of this land. That led me to discovering a bunch of minerals, including diamonds. I also found a Drudagon down there, and since it was level 50, I caught it. When I had my fill of my time down there, I then worked my way out. I returned home on day 25 and smelted up some of my gathered ores. Then, I went out and battled some Togedemaru's in the area because they drop aluminum plates, which is something that I would definitely need for crafting Pokemon-based items like healers and PCs. Finally, the last thing that I did on day 25 was I caught a Noibat at night and made an anvil so I could use it to make Pokeballs in the future with my apricorns. Now it was time to finally see what was in the rare crate. When I went and opened up the rare crate for myself, I ended up landing on a fly token, which allows me to fly for 3 days. But with other crazy possibilities in the crate, I was really excited what else I could see. But first, I need to show you what I've been up to. From there, I went back to the area around my house and battled a Shiinotic with the goal of catching it, but I ended up defeating it instead. Out in that forest, whenever I saw a Togedemaru, I took the chance to farm aluminum plates off of them. At night, I saw a Pupitar, and even though I already owned a Larvitar, I decided that I wanted to catch it. The next day, I worked on my apricorn farm a bit, and then went home and crafted a healer with the materials I had gathered. I then ran to the sand near my house, and even though I saw a Surskit which was part of the Poke Hunt event, I ended up defeating it and got my sand. After that, I proceeded to smelt it all while I went out and farmed more Pokemon in the area, including Volbeat because they dropped glowstone dust, which was needed for the next thing that I was going to craft. Back at my house, I put all the items together and I had a PC ready to place down. My apricorn garden was looking good the following morning as I filled out the remaining empty spots. I also needed Pokeballs, so I used the apricorns on my anvil to make some more. Outside of my house, I also stumbled upon a Lycanroc, which I decided to go for and caught it. Next up was a Haunter who quickly became mine as well. Back home, I healed up my pokes and then looked at all of the different ones in my PC. This led me to checking outside for any others to add to the family, and I found a level 60 Ursaring just chilling outside of my place. On day 29, I thought about how this server hadn't allowed me to build a boat for the water, so I tried to swim on my Lapras and it actually worked really well. I then shifted my focus to my Togekiss and I was soon flying through the air. This allowed me to go over to the bridge that I had seen previously, which ended up being much longer than I had assumed it would be. Even with my enhanced speed for my Pokemon's flight, it took a while, but at the end of it,
there were just a few healers and PCs. At spawn, I ended up catching a level 50 Galvantula, and at the gym warp, I found a Gabite who gave me the hardest time. No ball I threw would even shake at all before it busted out, so I had to weaken it even further, and that did the trick. The next day, the same mod who helped me with the house claiming issue showed me how to set a warp to my house's location, so now anyone who gets on the server can get here easily. I do want to go ahead and showcase people's homes like the user Rachel B is Hot, who made a house overlooking mine by day 31. On the opposite side of Rachel B's house is the house belonging to the user Penguin QT, who actually built it right at the warp location that I made. So if you do use the warp, you're gonna get in front of their house first. I do want to give a special thank you to all of the people who have already joined in on the fun. Anyways, from there, we went on to the gym warp and looked around. There, we saw pretty nice looking structures as we ran around the area. Our journey looking around the area went on to the next morning as we eventually made it to the area with the ground gym. It looked quite cool inside, honestly. All of this was making me actually want to challenge a gym though, so I tried it out and this time I was rejected for not having level 25 Pokemon. I should have definitely read the rules prior to going headfirst in there, so that was 100% my fault. I went back home and evolved my Timber while in the process of readying my team for the next time I challenged the gym. Outside of my house on day 33, I saw a guy named Soldier Zero, but he was unfortunately AFK. After that, I noticed that Penguin QT left me a chest full of goodies, and when I opened it, it had so many good things. I was honestly stacked. If you're watching this, Penguin, I really appreciate the gifts. They helped me out a ton. On day 34, I wanted to show my buddy Waddle how I can fly now, but for some reason, my Mamoswine kept popping out of its ball. I decided to give it some attention due to this. I warped over to the move relearner, and using the abundance of diamonds that Penguin QT graciously bestowed upon me, I taught my Piloswine the move Ancient Power. With a singular rare candy, I was then able to get my boy to evolve into a Mamoswine. That night, while frolicking through the forest, I found a shiny Pachirisu and caught it. I then decided that maybe I should look into doing more quests, with one that really caught my eye being the one that said to catch an ice type. The reason is because it said that it would give me a Master Ball after completing it. The weird part, though, was that it said to catch 0 ice types. The following day, even though I knew it was probably a glitched out quest, I still had my hopes up for seeing that Master Ball. But once I caught an ice type and nothing happened, I just carried on. Next up was the quest to break 15 stone blocks. It was only at this point that I realized that I had a mythic pickaxe with efficiency 8, unbreaking 8, fortune 4, and mending. Penguin QT really hooked me up. The stone stood no chance. Later on, I found more structures deep in the snowy area, but that didn't really lead to much. I then ran into a Magneton that I caught and a Berserker that followed suit. Waddle had me teleport to him on day 36 to look at a house he found. This led to us going around finding a lot more player-made structures in the area, some of which really confused us. I was still trying to complete my next quest, which meant encountering plenty of ghost types to defeat. And eventually, that brought us to a savanna biome, which ended up being the player shop warp where people on the server can go and open stores and sell items. I found a Scyther in this area and decided to catch it. On day 37, we saw a neat structure of Sylveon's pixel art and discovered a really long bridge that we followed all the way down. Eventually, we got to a nifty little area that seemed like a daycare area with its own battle arena. After leaving this area at night, I caught a Honedge. The following day, I flew up to a spot Waddle was interested in, and when I got there, some pokes spawned in, but I didn't really care much about them. At night though, I was still trying to defeat ghost types and I took it out on a Duskull in the area. When the next day rolled around, I had mostly given up on the ghost type hunt and went after a Larvesta instead, since I kinda like Volcarona more than I like Centiskorch. Unfortunately, this thing was constantly dodging everything I threw at it or busting out of the ball, so I had to battle it, but accidentally killed it. By the next morning though, I found another Larvesta and my hunt actually paid off. I then flew into Ultra Space with hopes of finding something cool in there, but honestly, this other dimension felt so strange to traverse through, and I didn't really get much done there. I made it back to my house the next day, and at night, I caught a Clefable to have a strong fairy type lined up for me to use if the opportunity called for it. Day 42 saw me chasing after a shiny Wingull for an extremely long amount of time. It was super elusive by simply non-stop flying in a singular direction, and even though I got it into a Pokeball a few times, I never caught it. The rest of the day involved me just kind of running around and laughing at a tiny Machoke. On day 43, the user, the Rhizo Boy, had joined in on the community fun by having set up a base around my house. I was super happy to see and interact with him, and then he told me that he had caught a Hakamo'o specifically for me after seeing my failed attempt at catching a Jengmo'o. We went to the upper level of the Pokemon Center at spawn over to the trading machines, and I traded my Swinub for the newest member of the family. Thanks again to the Rhizo Boy for the new friend. Next to Rhizo's house was also the property of Taco25 Molino 175, and even though I didn't see them, I wanted to feature their house in the video. That night, I battled the battle tower again, but this time I didn't make it as far as the first time. I managed to just barely scrape out a win in the first round, and by the second, my team was kind of destroyed. Day 44 saw light to some new dailies, which I really wanted to complete this time. They wanted me to make a cloning machine, catch 10 dark types, and defeat 29 grass types. With my goals in mind, I made some great balls and headed out. I knew the jungle would be the place to go thanks to seeing the Purloin at night here before. So I spent the night catching as many as I could to complete the dark type quest. This mission went on into the morning where I caught the final Purloin of the night and moved my sights to the Carvana in the area since they're also dark type Pokemon. After catching those, I saw that I only needed 2 more dark types, but even when flying around on Togekiss, I couldn't find any. My search went on into the night when Purloin began spawning again, which allowed me to finish one of my 3 quests. I then moved on to the quest of defeating grass types and started with an Execute in the area. The next day opened up with more grass types being defeated by me, and before long, this led me to want to change scenery a bit, so I moved over to the Battle Road, which hosted many of the same grass type Pokemon that I had been seeing up until this point. I ended up spending the rest of my quest defeating them here in this area, and by day 47, I had finished yet another quest with only 1 more to go. That one quest was to make a cloning machine though. Knowing that I'd need a lot of materials, I headed down into the depths of a nearby cave and took what I could find. I gathered up materials for a bit, and since I knew the crafting recipe for the cloning machine thanks to looking it up, I was able to gather enough for what I wanted to accomplish. I went back home and started putting all of the pieces together sorta like a puzzle. This thing was really weird to make come together. Then, when I was about halfway, I went out and caught an Excadrill near my place. On day 48, I looked around for more Togedemaru in the area since I needed more aluminum plates, but I didn't find enough to satisfy my requirements, so I did some research and found that bauxite ore, something I had collected in the cave, would turn into aluminum ingots when smelted. And then, I just need to beat it with a hammer to turn it into a plate. I set my new cloning machine down and redeemed my quest. Oh, and another house had appeared, so thanks to DZ Cloudier, or Cloutier? DZ Cloudier, I'm not too sure, for moving in as well. Now back to the crates. I went ahead and tried my luck 4 more times and got a magnesium sulfide slugma, which made it look like it was some cool white/silver color, but it was the next one that was really a big deal. I got a Thundurus. In a crate literally called the Racing Thunder crate, I think that's probably pretty good. After that, my last 2 were a shiny Tauros and a shiny Halucha again, but my excitement was all on the Thundurus I got, obviously. On day 49, I was invited to go to the house of a VIP member on the server named It Spurts YT to participate in 5 different games that could win me some valuable prizes on the server. This endeavor carried on into the next day. After setting things up, he had me take part in the first game. The rule was simple: hit the button, and whatever it lands on, I get. On my first try, I got the 1 in 16 chance of winning a shiny Pokemon, and I chose to get a shiny Wishy-Washy off of the prize board. The next game was even simpler. I could wager anything, and if I chose the right color that would glow, I'd get to double it. I wanted to play it safe, so I chose 1 diamond and put it on the color blue, which I got right, and got rewarded with another diamond for winning. The third game was quite different from the first 2 though. I had to shoot an arrow into a hole that I couldn't see on top of a structure that was in front of me. Luckily, Spurts let me shoot to my heart's content, and I finally made it after like 37 shots or something. This won me yet another shiny Pokemon, and I chose Zubat this time, which, fun fact, was my second shiny that I ever got. And my first one was actually a Golbat, so right in the same family. The next game was really interesting in that if you hit the button, there was a smaller and smaller chance that a light would travel up to the top prize, a Rainbow Cresselia, but anything that it stopped on the way there was what it would dispense out to me. He said I would have 20 tries to try to get a really good prize, but as you can see by all the balls in my inventory, we went a little past 20. More like way past 20 actually. Finally, after that, we had the last game, which allowed for me to have the ability to get a really strong starter Pokemon if I won. This one was a little complex, so basically, if all of the lights with gems light up, there's a chance that the rare candy light will also light up. And if that one lights up, then there's another chance that I would get rewarded with a starter Pokemon. Basically, it was like a 1 out of 2 chance for each of these lights to light up or something like that. Spurts explained that at the end of it all, it was a 1 in 64 chance to actually get the Pokemon. Luckily, I did end up winning, and I got a Score Bunny, which apparently is so broken it's banned in the first 8 gyms of the server. I then evolved it and was super grateful to Spurts for the awesome experience. I discovered a Xurkitree around an Ultra Beast portal on day 51, and I definitely didn't want to lose out on that opportunity. Luckily, I had my Thundurus on me, so I was able to weaken it and catch it. As I roamed the Icelands the next morning, I found a Vanillish, which I caught, and then I found the boy.
Here comes the boy. Hello, boy. Welcome. There he is. He is here.
After that, I kept walking and I found him.
Watch as he comes and walks to your voice. The happy stride of a happy cat.
On day 53, I had gotten Absolite and Blazikenite from Penguin QT, and I just want to say thank you again, Penguin QT, for everything that you've given me. From there though, I found a Squirtle in the area and I caught it. I then went to an extreme hills biome to get an Absol, but I wasn't able to find one searching all night, so someone on the server named Angu just gifted me one. Special shout out to Angu. Wanting to Mega Evolve it, I took it to the battle tower and did just that. I actually wanted to try and climb this tower, but quickly lost during the first match because I'm trash. On the following day, I got a bunch of presents from members of our community. First was from Raijin, who had left me some Quick Balls, which are actually my favorite type of Pokeballs in general. I also got a present from King Cross, or Crosby Hart, who had left me an abundance of apricorns, which would definitely come in handy for ball making. And finally, there was Furious Spiders, who left me minerals and potions alongside other little trinkets and stuff. I really want to give a special thanks to all 3 of you because all of these presents always make me feel so happy to see. I quickly took the apricorns over and smelted them up because I needed to make some Ultra Balls due to wanting to complete a quest where I needed to catch 17 bug-type Pokemon. I then spent the rest of the night making the equipment necessary. On day 54, I noticed that one of the things Furious Spider had left me was a request for my signature, so I went over to the anvil that they left and fulfilled the request. I also opened their letter after that, which said hi, and well, hi Furious Spider. I hope you're doing well. The rest of the day revolved around my bug catching quest, in which I went around my forest catching as many as I could find. After that was more of the same. The entire day was spent going around catching all of the creepy crawlies that I could. Finally, by day 56, my quest was complete and I was able to get my reward, a Master Ball. From there, I thought it was about time I hit up another one of those limited time crates that this server has to offer. I had 5 more keys, this time for the Desert Sun crate, so I went ahead and rolled and got a Summer Snorlax. Things were looking good already, so I spun again and got a Spirit Flareon, which made it a cool black color. After that, I spun 3 more times, and unfortunately luck wasn't on my side anymore because I just ended up getting 3 more Summer Snorlaxes. Or maybe that was lucky. I mean, I guess me and my boys are just gonna have to hit up the beach at some point. Once I was done there, I noticed an announcement about Among Us having a sus form at the safari for 1 week only, so I rushed there, but I kinda lost track of what I was doing soon afterward. The next day started and I was back at the spawn hub, which was noticeably more spooky to fit the Halloween vibes. I jumped back onto the blue server and was once again at the safari. I took the time to just look around the area and eventually spotted a Salamence, which I decided to catch with the Master Ball that I had gotten from my previous quest. Still exploring the safari zone by the next day, I went over to the Hell area and a few others, but by far the most interesting thing that I saw was the fact that I think I found Shrek. On day 59, I went over to the Nether and looked around to see if I could find anything crazy. Unfortunately, I didn't find anything too cool besides a Bisharp, and I wasn't even interested in it, so I didn't end up catching it. Day 60 rolled around, and I thought it was about time that I'd try to challenge a gym again, and actually get some results. I challenged one of the server's rock-type gym leaders, who was actually none other than Spurts himself. My team was just a bunch of Pokemon that I had leveled up who would be good against rock types, but they didn't really have any tailor-made movesets through TMs or the Relearner or anything, which directly contrasted with what I figured my opponent would have going into this. I figured that these gym leaders would have full-on strategies that synchronized their team play, and oh boy, I was right. A sunny day led to an explosion, which led to a hidden power and a solar beam, and that was enough to wipe me out. Spurts then took me to the trading area at spawn to evolve my girder, which I greatly appreciated. The next day, as I wallowed in the rain after my defeat, I thought I'd go ahead and fill up my Pokedex a bit more. I was really close to having 1/10 of the way done, which would give me a reward, so that's what I shot for. While out there, I also went ahead and looked at TMs, but I was soon reminded that I had very little money on this server, and I'm not too sure how to really get money easily. I went back to catching after that, and eventually reached my goal, which got me 3 more Master Balls. On day 62, I went to the battle tower again and ended up spending a really long time here because I was kind of just goofing around in the voice chat with my friend Waddlevania while I battled these trainers. But on top of that, I also had my longest streak at this place going into motion. Battle after battle, I kept coming out on top, which was really surprising. It got to the point where the enemy teams were even reappearing, which meant that I must have probably battled just about everyone there. I ended up winning 11 times in a row by the end. The next 3 days were spent finally making a place for Waddle to live. He had been at my house for far too long, and I was kicking him out and making him a house. On day 68, I went down into the nearby cave system and found a Dratini, which was caught with another Master Ball. At this point, I saw how it wasn't too difficult to get these type of balls, so I felt comfortable using it. I then used my crazy pickaxe to go to town down there. I collected anything I could find, and thanks to the fortune enchantment on it, my loot was crazy. I returned to Waddle's place on the following day and dropped off my spoils at his house as a housewarming present. I then went back to the Safari Zone to look for the sussy Amoonguss again. This led to me looking around as I saw Fungus and other mushroom Pokemon spawning, but I couldn't find my boy. Day 70 came rolling around, and unfortunately, that was that. I wasn't able to find the little sussy Baka, so I quit my search. But I vowed to see one day.
On day 71, I found a new area near my house. A person named A7AOE on YT had stayed up for 8.5 hours working on this area, so I do want to give them a huge shout out for their contribution to our lands. They had built both a regular home and a Pokemon Center area, which I thought was super neat. I believe he also left me some items, but I can't find that footage, so thanks for that as well. Early in the next morning, I also saw that a user named Odals had marked their home in the area as well. On their home was also a sign telling everyone to subscribe, and I mean, Odals might have a good idea there, I'm just saying. If y'all want to subscribe, I think we should all listen to Odals. After that, I went to Raijin's house just to apologize for taking his Aerodactyl. You see, he had one of those fossil stations in his house, and his house was just open for some reason, and I went inside of there, and without even knowing what I was doing, I kind of just right-clicked and stole it. I didn't even have it on footage, so I'm just sorry, Raijin. I also saw that someone had left me some aluminum, but they didn't mark their chest with a sign, so just know that I appreciate you, whoever you are. Finally, I ended off the day by making a carrot farm because Spurts had informed me that they were a good way of making money on the server, so he had provided me with a few to start off my little business with. The night of day 73, I found myself an Infernape, and you already know that I had to catch that monkey boy. Sure, I already had the OP Cinderace on my team, but it wouldn't hurt to have another Final Evolution Fire starter in my arsenal. The morning of day 74, I saw a Rayquaza flying through the sky. I began to panic because I didn't have any Pokeballs on me, and I was afraid that the server was going to purge it in the amount of time that it would take me to get back to my house and then run all the way back. Honestly, narration wouldn't even do this part justice, so here's what I was going through in the moment. I don't have any balls, for real.
You don't got no Master Balls?
No, I don't have them on me. I'm scared. No, wait. Come back,
you want me to get in? Get in the battle.
Okay. I'm gonna try. I gotta pull out Aerodactyl. Oh, please don't purge. Please
what
don't
happened
purge.
to Technic Launcher? Did it delete itself again?
Yo, this Aerodactyl's so fast, bro. It is so crazy fast.
Bro.
Don't. It hurt. No, it didn't. Oh, it's right here. It's right here. Please. I got it! Okay. Send it to
you got it?
I have it in the battle. Please, come over. Then, my game crashed, and I needed to quickly get back in before it despawned. Give me my Rayquaza! I'm done, bro.
Hey, get it!
How did I not get it?
Rayquaza, how do I fight this thing? My dragon's going crazy.
How you gonna steal my Pokeballs and then try to steal my Poke?
I'm not. I'm trying to get it for you.
Oh, I got it. Go on.
Okay, let me.
You should have dropped me the master ball instead of going straight for it.
You're like flying in the air right now. I can't. I think I'm glitched.
Bro.
You see me?
Please. Just get to the ground, please. Just drop.
How am I gonna get you?
Bro. Wait. Okay, look at my screen. That's not where I'm at. Look, I'm right in front of your face on my screen.
Yeah, so if I just drop it right here.
I hope. Please. It's not working. I couldn't escape, so that's cool. Oh, yeah, okay, I escaped. Okay, give me, please. Thank you.
Oh, you got it? I dropped it.
Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Okay.
Bro, Aerodactyl's dead. No. Oh my gosh. Okay. Wait. Oh, I might be close enough to just throw something at it. Go. No. Yeah, I got it. Okay.
Catch it.
Pokeball, Master Ball. Come on. Let's go.
Did you get it?
Yeah, buddy.
Yo, put that in the video.
Let's go. Finally. The next day, I showed off my new Rayquaza to Loz the Locrian, a gym leader on the server. He seemed pretty enthralled with my toothless wonder, I must say. I then just kind of went around flying on it because of just how happy I was, and I didn't really do much of anything else on that day. On the night of day 76, though, I found a boss Beedrill, and it was level 100. It is no surprise that it, proceeded to sweep my entire team. Day 77, I saw that there were many different difficulties to the bosses after seeing that a boss Aerodactyl was legendary ranking, and a Gengar in the area was epic rank. I tried challenging the Gengar, but he was also level 100, so my team died again. Wanting to be able to fight these beasts, I grabbed some rare candies and boosted my two-tooth boy up to the max level. Oh, and thanks to Samariac for the title bell. Then I battled a level 130 Heracross, and I beat it with my Rayquaza. However, I ended up challenging a Heracross that was level 150. Like, bruh. After that defeat, though, I did find some boss Beedrills, and I was able to take them out with my Rayquaza, which at least made me feel a little bit better. After that, I just kind of ran around seeing a bunch of bosses all over that I knew that I wouldn't be able to handle. On day 78, after losing to a Mega Absol boss, I powered up my Thundurus as well. After seeing Locrian again, I hit up more of the loot crates on the server, and while I did get a bunch of really interesting things, by far, the most important thing that I rolled from one of these crates was the Sussy Amoonguss. Yes, that Sussy Amoonguss, the one that I had been searching for, the one that I vowed to see one day. The following morning, I tended to my carrot farm in order to finally make enough money on the server to actually do stuff with the money. And my carrots had grown up nice and strong, so it was time to use my crazy pickaxe's fortune ability to collect carrots by the truckload. However, kind of anticlimactically, that's where my journey unfortunately concluded. The next time that I got on, I found out that the blue server that I played on was merged with a green and a yellow server, and then they were reset. Because of this, I was prompted to select a starter Pokemon and start my journey over again. Unfortunately, that happened before I could finish this 100 days series, so what I really wanted to do was have the end of this video be sort of a tour around our lands to show off every single house and thank every single person that came and made the community what it was on, just our little branch of the server. I wouldn't even call it a branch. Just our little dot on the server, But I was really happy about the fact that all of you guys came through. We had a whole community. People were giving people items, probably just me because I'm Sizzle Games. No, but you guys know what I'm saying. I really did enjoy every one of you guys getting on the server and making it a lot more fun. So thank you to everyone that actually jumped on, made a house next to mine, and contributed in any way, shape, or form, honestly. Thank you. I really wish I could have thanked each one of you individually on this part of the video, but unfortunately that is no longer the case. So I just want to let you guys know that I really do appreciate every single one of you who did. And hopefully I featured at least most of you in the videos. I know that some of them aren't gonna be featured in this, and that's specifically because I just don't have the ability to go to that part of the server anymore just because it got reset. So I just want to thank you all for this series and for making it fun. And yeah, I'm sorry that we didn't make it to 100 days, but hopefully The next thing that we do will be a lot of fun as well. So I hope you guys stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye. Oh, and shout out to Audium Wanderous again. You are the real MVP and you already know why. All right, see ya.